Good morning. Доброе утро. Good morning. Доброе утро. What I can tell you is that you don't need to learn Russian in order to buy a condo in Toronto. Hi guys, my name is Vlad. I'm a real estate agent with the Purple Tree Group, and today I'm going to be covering topics in connection with buying a condominium in Toronto. Broadly speaking, you can separate those interested in buying a condo into three groups. They're first-time home buyers, they're investors, and there are people that are in the process of retiring. And of course, each one of those categories has their own goals and objectives. For example, a first-time home buyer would likely be interested in a bargain. They'll be looking for a building where they can get the best possible deal. Somebody who's retiring is likely going to be looking at a completely different set of objectives. They have stayed in the area where they own a house for probably 2 or 3 decades. Their house price has gone up in value, so they have some money to spend. They're looking to be close to their friends and family in the same area, and perhaps some of their friends have already moved into a particular condo building that is located within the geographic area where they lived. So they usually have their eyes set on 1 or 2 buildings that they're considering, and that's where they want to go. So this is a part of the privileged group. Investors, just like the first-time home buyers, again, are looking for bargains, and specific building location is of little importance to them. As long as they can get an investment-grade unit within the general areas that they're considering. Yes, there are some things that are different in terms of their objectives for people in those 3 categories. However, there are some things that are absolutely the same. So I want to cover those general issues that are important to you as a condo buyer, regardless which group you're in. The first thing you got to establish is you want to buy from a reputable builder. That's important for resale. That's important for your ongoing enjoyment of the building that you're in. And by buying from somebody who has a name in the industry, you're ensuring a certain level of quality, and the building will age well, so you'll continue enjoying living there 10 or 20 years down the road. Second point on the list is being close to public transportation. It may not be very important to you. You may have 5 cars in your garage. But if at any point you will start thinking about selling that condo, you want to expand your real estate portfolio and you have another option to go to, or you're thinking about moving to Florida, whatever your considerations are, if you're reselling, being close to the public transportation is going to add a few dollars to the resale price. Now, a view is important. Everybody knows about it, and there are really 2 options for views that you should consider when looking into a condominium purchase. You can get an okay view, which is at least partially unobstructed, and that will help you sell. Again, we're talking about the resale value of a condo, or preferably you go for a spectacular view. Regardless of the economy, regardless of the builder, regardless of the location, spectacular views always sell first, and that's what you want to have for your condo. If you have pets, you got to find out what the building's policies are with respect to them. If you have 3 dogs, you've signed an agreement of purchase and sale, you brought in a deposit to the brokerage, and at this point you're finding out that the building where you're buying either doesn't allow pets, period, or there are restrictions whereby they're only allowing 2 dogs per unit and you have 3, that's an issue. You got to find that out before you sign anything. With respect to balconies, some buyers would not even consider buying a condo unit without a balcony. Some buildings don't have any. I would stay away from those, and some buildings have a mixture. Some units do have balconies and others don't. Always try and go for the unit that has a balcony that will help you with the resale. We deal with a lot of condo purchases, and one of the first things that people ask after they see the unit is, what amenities does the building offer? The hottest ones on anyone's list is the gym and the indoor swimming pool. So find out if those amenities are available. Again, great help with the resale. That's what we're thinking about. How much value can you derive out of a unit that you've purchased a little bit down the road? You got to find out what the smoking policies are within the building. If you don't smoke and you prefer other people not to smoke around you, then you got to be looking for a building which does not allow smoking on premises. In the past 5 years, a lot of buildings have implemented very restrictive smoking policies. You cannot smoke inside your unit. You cannot use any of the common areas for that. You cannot smoke on the balcony, and you cannot smoke within 10 to 15 feet from the main entrance to the building. Again, if you sign a contract, you've put in a deposit, you are a smoker, just to find out that the building does not allow smoking anywhere, that's an issue. You either have to kick the habit or somehow try to wiggle out of the contract. And I know that neither one of those are particularly easy. If you're a first-time home buyer, and this is the category that we covered earlier in the video, one of the first things you need to do is get your mortgage pre-approval done. So pick up the phone and call your mortgage broker or a bank, start putting or getting the paperwork that they require in order for you to get the pre-approvals, and just be mindful about the time frame. It may take anywhere between 2 to 3 months to get that accomplished. Don't make a mistake of going out to see property before you have that pre-approval in your pocket, as you may potentially run into one of two issues. Number one, you may find a property that you absolutely fall in love with, it checks all the boxes for you, and then when you make it an offer, you cannot fulfill it or you cannot continue because your financing is still not done. So you have to go through this process again and again until you get your pre-approval in order. And the second potential issue is that you might be hunting for a property thinking that your budget is around $700,000, but when the pre-approval comes in, you find out that you only got approved for something like $550,000. So the properties that we're previously looking at out of your budget all of a sudden. So get that pre-approval in first and then start looking for property. Once you started looking for properties, I wanted to give you a couple of tips. So consider a building that allows for Airbnb. It's great for investors, but may not be so good for you. There'll be long waits to see a concierge or security guard because everybody is looking for keys or looking for parcels. And the building is going to be very busy, including the elevated wait times. And two other things that you want to check for once you've kind of finalizing your decision on a particular unit that you found. Check for water pressure inside the unit. Some buildings have an issue. You open up a tap and see what's going on, and also at the same time, how long it takes you to get the hot water flowing. And the second thing, check for elevator wait times. Even if a building does not allow for Airbnb, we've heard reports that for some buildings, elevator wait times during peak hours can be longer than 20 minutes. If you are an investor, you're thinking about something completely different than if you were a first-time home buyer or somebody who's in the process of retiring. And buying a condo unit as an investment has been very popular in the Greater Toronto area in the last couple of decades. There are really three main reasons for that. The first one is that condo units have been enjoying breakneck appreciation over the past couple of decades. And people knew once to invest the money, 10 years goes by, they'll be able to pull out and make a bundle. Second is that it's a very simple process, especially if you're getting into something of pre-construction. You go to the sales office, they take care of everything, every single step of the process itself. So it will be a seamless experience for you. And lastly, and very importantly, this is one of the most affordable housing types in the Greater Toronto area as well. So the barrier to entry is fairly low. Once we pass those original hurdles, you need to start analyzing the market and trying to understand whether buying a condo, if you have $700,000 to spend, is the best investment for you. Just to think of at least one alternative to that. So say your condo unit, for whatever reason, stays vacant for 12 months out of a year. Your vacancy rate in that single unit you have purchased in the building is 100%. And it's not like it's a completely far-fetched scenario. In the past year, condo prices for rent have softened dramatically, and it's not unusual for condos to stay on the market for months on end before they find their tenant. It's very difficult to find a qualified tenant nowadays. If you were to take that same $700,000 pre-approval or cash that you have and drive a couple of hours away from Toronto, you can all of a sudden get into a duplex, or maybe, if you're lucky, even a triplex. And what happens then? If you got into a duplex that you bought for $700,000, and one of the units in that duplex stays vacant, just like what can happen to your condo unit in the city. It stays vacant for 12 months. Your vacancy rate is only at 50% as opposed to being at 100%. Something to think about when you're buying an investment in real estate. At the same time, if you firmly believe that the condo market is going to rebound in 2021, and I think it will rebound, there is absolutely no indications that I see looking at the analytics and seeing what's happening, just seeing what's happening in the real estate market itself, because we're there every day, we trade every day. I don't see any reason for the market to go down. So if you do believe that condos will provide you with the same level of appreciation over time, even though you might not be making decent returns on a monthly basis, in fact, you might be losing money, especially if your place stays vacant for a while until you find the right tenant, then a condo purchase is a great investment. If you don't think the market is going to rebound, look for the options like duplexes and triplexes outside of the city. If you are somebody who's retiring and you're looking to buy a condo unit in the same neighborhood where you currently live, you also potentially considering the sale of your house in the same area. When you're looking at a condo unit, of course, the same concerns and considerations that are general will still apply. You want to have a good exposure, you want to have a sensible floor plan, you want to have a balcony, you want to have amenities in the building, etc. So you want to have all that. The question becomes, what can you play with in order to save on the purchase a little bit? And one of the things that is kind of on the surface is just timing the market. I'm not talking about trying to time the market in terms of predicting where it's going to go over a year. Seasonally, and real estate market is very seasonal. Seasonally, the market has been fluctuating in very distinct and similar patterns over the last decades. So the market is hot for a sale in the fall and in the spring, and the market gets softer for that. The prices drop and it becomes almost perfect for a buy over a part of the summer, July and August, and over a part of the winter, December and the first few weeks of January. So if you are thinking about selling your home, it makes sense to try and sell it in the high season, in the fall. And I'm going to give an example. So sell your home in September, October of any given year. Aim to close your house in the early spring of the following year, and start looking for a condo and commit to a purchase over the month of December and January. This way you can save a few percentage points on the purchase price, as the market generally drops by 1 to 3 points during the winter. And lastly, do you need to hire a real estate agent for the job of getting a property for yourself? And the answer is absolutely not. You don't have to. Some people are okay with extracting their own teeth. You may not be a part of that crowd. And if you're not, but at the same time, you still want to feel good about the decisions that you're making, you want to know the facts. And I want to give you some facts. An average homeowner stays in the same home for approximately 10 years. An average agent sells approximately 2 to 3 homes every year. It's not very exciting, but this is what an average agent sells. So over the period of time of 10 years, that average agent will have sold 20 to 30 homes, so they would have had 20 to 30 transactions. If you are a homeowner that prefers to do everything by himself or herself, you would have had a transaction year 1 when you bought a home, and you would have had a transaction year 10 when you sold a home. So just 2 transactions. The level of experience between even an average agent and you is vastly different. Even an average agent can save you a lot of headaches during the process. If, however, you're interested in working with somebody who's great, somebody who has 20, 30, 50 transactions or more, what that will translate into is hundreds of transactions closed over that 10-year period of time, a great network of other agents that they can tap into and give you options to purchase off-market properties that are not on MLS. And they've successfully negotiated hundreds of transactions, which will translate into you saving a bundle of money on your purchase as well. All right, so if you'd like to have a more in-depth conversation about all the issues around a condo purchase in the GTA, Greater Toronto Area, perhaps you want to get a list of the highest appreciating neighborhoods or the list of most reputable builders, or just learn more about the common mistakes that people make when they're going through the condo purchase process, hit us up on social media or DM myself or my partner Mitra, and we'll be happy to engage and answer any of your questions. As I said earlier in the video, you don't have to learn Russian in order to buy a condo in Toronto, but you have to learn English in order to do that. So if somehow you feel that your current level of English is not up to par and is not allowing you to get the best possible deal for a condo, get in touch with us. Within our group, we speak English, Farsi, French, and Russian, and we'll be able to help you if you speak one of those languages fluently. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you like the content. Consider subscribing, hit the notification bell so as not to miss any new releases that are coming out weekly. And we're looking forward to getting your comments in the comments section so we can engage in a conversation with you as well. That's it. I'm out. See you again next week.